First of all, I'd like to thank you all for coming to the final Cardinal Sports Luncheon of 2013. I'd like to wish all of you happy holidays. We had 21 students graduate at semester at William Jewell, and 10 of those were athletes. So that was a good deal that we had last week, Tuesday. What's going to take place today, we got a special guest speaker who's going to hit cleanup for us, who I'm excited to hear him talk again, excited to see him again. But we're going to start. Coach Gole is going to lead us off here, give us a swimming update. Coach Cress will give us a women's basketball update. Coach Holley will give us a men's basketball update, and then our special guest speaker will step in. So as we get going here, let's give a nice warm welcome to Coach Gole as he gives us an update on the men's and women's swimming program.
Thank you very much for attending this Cardinal Club luncheon. It's been a fun fall so far. Since we last met, both the men and women went up to the University of Chicago and competed at a major invitational up there. Our men finished second to the host school, the University of Chicago, and they are actually currently in the top 15 in D3, so it was good competition. Our women finished fourth behind the University of Chicago, Hillsdale College, a D2 school in Michigan, as well as Southern Illinois Carbondale. They had a small contingency up there. But at that meet, we broke 13 school records. We had 3 individuals achieve NCAA provisional qualifying times. Those individuals were Maggie Metz on the women's side. She's a junior from Topeka, Kansas. She broke her own school records in the 400 IM and the 500 freestyle and achieved the NCAA B qualifying time in both of those. And junior Matt Luton from Kansas City, Missouri, he ended up making the NCAA B qualifying time in the mile. And Matt also had a great meet. He won the 200 free and he won the 500 free. And for winning the mile, the 500, and the 200, he was actually named the Great Lakes Valley Conference Athlete of the Week on the men's side. And that's the first for our program. So we're incredibly proud of Matt for his accomplishment. After our performance that meet, the swimming rankings are a little different. They kind of take each team's top 27 swims, and they kind of stack it against the records, and they generate a point total. And our point total after that meet put us in 15th in the country on both the men's and women's side, which is the highest we've ever been so far. However, a lot of teams peaked that next couple weekends, and we dropped down to 22nd on the men's side and 28 on the women. But for us to still be in the top 25 on the men's side and still kind of being in the top 30 on the women, we're very happy. After that meet, our women traveled to Lawrence to swim against KU. It was an incredibly tough meet. We actually did not win a single event against the University of Kansas, but that was somewhat expected. However, we did get a couple of second place finishes, which we were happy with. And then this past Monday and Tuesday, after final exams were finished, we went up to Romeoville, Illinois. We swam against Lewis University. They were done with finals. We were finished with finals. Had 2 really good days of racing. And our men actually snuck away with a win on Monday night, and it's the first time in my college swimming and coaching career that a team has ever won a meet after losing the first 5 races. So there's 11 total events contested on Monday night. Our men lost the first 5, and we ended up coming back and winning the meet. We won the last individual event and won the last relay to win the meet. So it was a pretty exciting come-from-behind finish. Our women came up a little bit shy on both days, but we had some really good individual performances. We had a win out of the freshman Paige Meredith in the 100 fly on Monday night. And Maggie Metz won both the mile and the 500 free on Monday night as well, with really good times. So season has been going well so far this fall. Right now we're just back at training. Swimmers will go home on Saturday and enjoy the holiday with their family. And probably the thing that I am most proud of right now for this fall, we did implement a new study hall program. I don't know if that helps, or the fact that we actually gave them incentive. If they get a high enough GPA, they don't have to do the study hall program. but both our men's and women's teams had their highest GPA up to this point, and both will be in consideration for College Swimming Coaches Association of America all academic teams. So I'm incredibly proud of them for that, and I wish the best with everybody for the holiday and with the other sports teams this winter. So thank you very much.
Thank you for being here today. I think the last time was right before we played Pitt State, and we lost that game by about 20. Since then, we've been doing pretty well. We're right now 6-3 overall, 1-0 in the conference. We played Southwest Baptist this last Saturday, and that was our last game. Southwest Baptist is very comparable to a lot of the teams in our conference, so kind of wanted to compare where we are with them. They played Drury earlier and lost to Drury by a point. Drury right now is 7-0 in the conference and ranked 6th in the nation. So going in there, I didn't know what to expect. We played really well defensively, struggled shooting the ball against Southwest. We were 7 for 28 from three-point range. Ended up down 1 with about 28 seconds left and had a foul and ended up losing the ball game. But I thought, you never want to end on a loss, especially going in the conference tournament, going into break here. But really felt good about our effort and the way we played. And I think there's a lot to build on. And I think the players got some confidence there. And again, they're very comparable to the teams that we're going to be facing as soon as we get back from Christmas. Again, they went home Saturday, so our team right now is going to have 15 days off, which is a little scary as a coach. I wrote up little things for them to be doing, so if you're watching, you guys need to be at the gym shooting and running and making sure they keep in shape. But great group of young women to coach, and I know that they'll be out working hard. And we come back the 30th, and then we'll open up at home January 3rd. So hopefully they do come back in shape. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty miserable, and it'll be tough to get them back into condition. I know Coach Gole touched a little bit on GPAs, and last year our team did very well and finished 3rd overall in the conference in GPA, and I think 1st on the William Jewell teams. And just got our grades, and I calculated that before I came back. And right now our team cumulative GPA is a 3.5. Which is pretty impressive for our players. And again, it's really proud of what they do on the court, but just as proud or more proud of what they do off the court. So thank you, and everybody have a great Christmas.
Everybody, thank you for being here. Wasn't sure what kind of a turnout we would have, but this is superb. Thank each and every one of you. And certainly I would add my happy holidays wish for each of you and your families. In terms of our basketball team, we're currently 5-4 on the year. We have completed our non-conference schedule, and we've played one conference game. How many of you were at our Rockhurst game? Okay, it ended in a very good fashion. If you were there, Rockhurst is our travel partner, and we're allowed to move one of those games into first semester. All of our remaining 17 conference games will be played in January and February. But we played Rockhurst here at home, conference game. We have a nice, comfortable 14-point lead midway through the second half. And then I turned the game over to my assistant coaches. With 3 seconds to go, Rockhurst made a 3 to tie the score. And I thought about calling timeout, but decided not to. I had a fear that they would intercept a long pass and throw something in at the buzzer. Who could imagine any sort of long shot going in at the buzzer? So I thought, well, we'll just go for overtime. So Devontae Mosby threw the ball into Dwight Sistrunk, about free throw line extended at the other end of the floor. He took a couple dribbles, shot it, buzzer goes off, and naturally it just swished through the nets for a 3-point win. I've had that done against us a few times, but never to end a game like that. So it was a nice win. Rockhurst is much improved from last year. If you've seen us play, we are a fairly small group. We're pretty athletic. We get up and down. We're playing a completely different style because we don't have a post player. We don't have a center on our roster. When I was watching the Southwest Baptist women play the William Jewell women, when the introductions were made, Southwest Baptist front line was, this is the women's team, they were 6'1", 6'2", and 6'3". They had 3 starters taller than 3 of my starters. We go 5'10", 5'10", 6 foot at our 1, 2, and 3 spots. So we are not only centerless, we are also very short on the perimeter. But we're not short on heart, and we're not short on work ethic. This is a special group. We have only one senior. If you haven't seen us play, I think you would enjoy it. A lot of it comes down to us shooting well. Southwest Baptist is a good basketball team. Had we shot well, we would have won that game. But we shot, our 2 top 3-point shooters went 2 for 11 in that game. But in our game, most recently against Ottawa, I want to mention Jordan Lewis. Jordan is a junior from Liberty High School, and Jordan had 20 points in the first half. He was 6 for 6 from 3-point range for the game, which tied our school record, which was set by, anybody know? Set December 20 of 2010 in San Diego against Point Loma Nazarene by Chris Ooze. If some of you might remember Chris Ooze out of Miami, Florida, he had a phenomenal shooting night at Point Loma Nazarene back in December of 2010. But Jordan did tie that record and is shooting the ball extremely well. He's our leading scorer and actually moved into the lineup because of an injury to Reith Jaich, our top junior college recruit out of North Platte in Nebraska. So we've gone from 2 guards, 2 forwards, 2 guards and 3 forwards to 2 forwards and 3 guards. I like our group. As I said, they play extremely hard. Had a great game against Ottawa. And when you can play well and be successful or not successful. When you shoot it well, you're usually going to be in pretty good shape. And when you do both, you're really in good shape. And we're always going to play hard. I don't know if we're always going to play well. But when we shoot it well, we're pretty effective. When we come back from break, I don't know what you're doing on Friday night, January 3rd. But on the men's side, we're playing the number 2 team in the nation, Bellarmine out of Louisville, Kentucky. They won the national championship in 2011. Drury from our league won the national championship last year. So the case could be made that we're in the toughest NCAA Division II men's conference in the nation, at least at the top. And you might wonder why we're playing Friday, Sunday. It's because the NCAA does not allow us to come back to campus until the 30th. And we moved the Thursday, Saturday weekend to a Friday, Sunday. So I hope you will come see us play. It's a fun group, really enjoying it. I'm pretty happy because about 10 days ago, my youngest daughter, Lacey, and her husband had their first child, so Christmas will be extra special. And my other 2 grandkids were actually, I guess, helping cheer on the sidelines the other night. I didn't know that till I got home, and my daughter had put all those photos on Facebook. But we do have the high school holiday tournament between Christmas and New Year's. I know a lot of you attend that, enjoy those games. We have, again, 24 area high schools, and we begin on December 26th. We continue on the 27th and 28th with 8 games a day beginning at 9 a.m. The championship day will be Monday, December 30th. We'll have 2 games at 10, 2 games at 12, 2 games at 2 for 3rd and 5th, and then the 3 championship games that night. So if you're not doing anything between Christmas and New Year's, there's a lot of good high school basketball being played in the Kansas City area. We hope you'll come and watch. Appreciate your attendance here today, and again, happy holidays to everyone. Thank you.
So I said we had a special guest speaker today who's going to hit cleanup. And I'd like him to come up here right now. And I'd like us to give a really big warm welcome to Paul Worstell, our men's and women's tennis coach.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming today. To say that the last 6 months has been a big challenge and a big mountain for me would be quite of an understatement. From those of you that don't know, I was diagnosed on May the 15th with a form of leukemia called ALL. And the other thing that I've had to learn in the last 6 months is I've gotten to become not only a tennis coach, but I've become a part-time medical professional. And so I've got to learn quite a bit about the medical field over the last 6 months. And so to say that it's been a challenge and been difficult is really an understatement. But the one thing that has carried me through has been a deep-rooted faith in Jesus Christ. And I could sit here and tell you countless miracles and things that have happened along this journey that keep me going and keep my faith strong. And I've had tremendous support from my family and from my friends, and I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to some people in this room. First off, the coaching staff in this room. When I was first diagnosed, I think they kind of thought that I was broken and kind of stayed away for a little while. But then about a week after I was diagnosed, I started getting texts and emails and phone calls, and they were so encouraging, and just really appreciate all the many times that I get phone calls or texts asking me how I'm doing and asking me what's the next step and what's going on and how are you handling things, and that has just been wonderful, and I so much appreciate the coaching staff, and it's been good. It's been therapeutic for me to be able to follow you all and follow your seasons from a distance, and root along with you. And I can't thank the college enough for having Rick Cole and his services. The funny thing is, since Rick's been here, I don't think I've watched a single game of his until I've been diagnosed. And so, sorry, Rick, but I've gotten to know you quite well in a different way, and I've gotten to watch most every football game and a lot of the basketball games and the soccer games, and that's been a great therapy for me. Can't thank Rick enough for stepping in and taking a lot of my responsibilities as sports information director. There's just a lot of times when, and those of you that have had family or know what it's like to go through chemotherapy, there are just some days that you don't even want to wake up, and there are some days that you don't even want to move your mouth, and there are just some days you just can't do anything. And to know that I have the support from you for helping me with a lot of my responsibilities was a big relief, and I appreciate it. For Darlene, for allowing me to still continue to do what I can do from home. The one thing that the doctors have told me that I cannot do is I cannot coach, I cannot exert myself physically, I can't get that blood pressure going. But as long as I can do my job sitting from a chair with a computer on my lap, then she's fine. My doctor's fine with that. So thank you for allowing me to continue to do the job that I can do, because again, that it's very therapeutic for me to be able to do that. As far as what lies ahead, I've been through 9 rounds of chemotherapy, and I thought at the time that was going to be the roughest part of the whole deal. But the biggest mountain that I have left to climb is in front of me in about a month. And I leave Liberty on the 10th of January, and I will be admitted on the 11th of January to Nebraska Medical Center in Omaha, Nebraska for a bone marrow transplant. I didn't realize this until this week, but again, I talked earlier about a lot of the miracles that have happened along the way, and what probably the biggest miracle that has happened to us was we were able to find a bone marrow donor that matched me perfectly. And not only did we find one, we found 3. And I didn't realize this until last week, but some of the nurses were telling me that's the equivalent of winning the Mega Millions. And having 3 people that my doctor could choose from was an absolute miracle. And my doctor looked for 3 things that he wanted in the bone marrow donor. He wanted a young male. He wanted that male to have my same blood type, and he wanted him to test negative for a certain virus that they look for, and he was all 3 of those. And so the donor has graciously agreed to donate. I will not have any contact with him. I won't get to meet him until hopefully a year after the transplant. But the transplant will happen on January the 15th, and then that will require me then to stay in Omaha for 100 days. I have to be within a 30-mile radius of the hospital for 100 days after the transplant, just so they can keep a close eye on me and make sure that the transplant is working, and that my body is not rejecting the transplant. And so if we've timed it right, looks like I'll be back here as long as everything goes well. Looks like I'll be back here sometime in late April. And after that, hopefully back here at William Jewell. And you know, a lot of the things that I have in front of me, you know, I always try to place little things to put on my bucket list to do. And you know, one of them is to get back and coaching next fall and coaching my team and being back to normal, you know, and being back in my office and working. But another one is one of my great friends, Walt Holt, is here with me today. And Walt and I would run together every Wednesday morning. And that's next on my bucket list after that is when I'm back healthy again. Walt and I are going to go running again. And that's some, you know, those little things that I keep putting in front of myself that keeps giving me strength and keeps helping me to move on. The very last thing that I wanted to share with you today is, you know, I mentioned at the beginning that a lot of the coaches would send me emails, and one of them in particular, Coach Cress, would send me an email every day when I first got diagnosed, and she called it Jill's Random Thoughts. And the reason why she would do that is because, I don't know if you know this or not, but she's a horrible cook, and I didn't want her giving our family meals, and so she offered to do that instead. So, but one of the emails that she sent me, I've held on to and will always keep, and it's going to get kind of emotional for me to read this, but I don't know if you all have ever known or ever researched what a cardinal is. And I had never known what a cardinal is. What is a cardinal? You know, I know it's a bird, and I know, but what is a cardinal? And Jill sent me the meaning of what a cardinal is. And her email was, Paul, have you ever wondered why teams have a mascot as a cardinal? Well, I have, and I got my answer this past year from one of my players, and it reminds me of you and why you are the perfect cardinal. Every game I assign one of my players the responsibility of getting in front of our team with a thought or a motivation. Jess Wheeler did this for us when we were getting ready to play Quincy at Quincy. They were number one in the conference at the time, and we ended up having them down by over 20 at the half and then beat them by 30 at the end of the game. A cardinal is a bird that is very protective of its territory. It doesn't go out looking for a fight, but when it is threatened, it attacks whatever it is threatening them, his family, his team, his faith, or territory. Cardinals will even fly into glass windows seeing their reflection, thinking that it's being threatened. When they run into the glass, they get knocked down a bit, but get dazed for a bit, and then they get up back to flying, they refocus, and they get back to protecting again. The next thing that comes at them, they go full force, and they never stop fighting or attacking the thing that is threatening them until it leaves. She says, Paul, that you are a cardinal, and it is a great day to be a cardinal. You're one of the most easygoing guys I know, and you are very protective of your family, your tennis team, and your faith. You hit a window while flying. You didn't see it, and none of us could see it coming. The window was your diagnosis. The fact that you hit it and it's there isn't going to change the fact that the window is always there. There are going to be times through this battle that you may hit a few more, but again, you are a cardinal. You may get knocked down and dazed a bit, but you will get back up and continue to protect and go after anything that threatens you, and with the same attitude that you attack everything. We win. That's what cardinals do. And it is a great day to be a cardinal. Thank you.
I'll be brief, but I was late. I'm late a lot, but everybody was gone from the Mabee Center, and there was this older fellow trying to get in the door. Jefferson saw him, and I'm sorry? I had it under control. And Steve Broughton, I don't know if Steve's here or not, but Steve Broughton came out, and then a couple other people came out, and I was starting to think no one was going to save me. But no, this man was wonderful. And he was trying to get in the Mabee Center, and I think he had been in the Mabee Center before, but it was a long time ago. So I talked to him for quite a while, which resulted in my being late. And he was actually a custodian in Brown Gymnasium back in the 70s. And so had a lot of interesting members of Coach Nelson. He actually wanted to know if Matt Nelson, our strength coach, was Coach Nelson's son. But anyway, it reminded me of of a lot of things as I was driving here that, it was important for me to stop and talk to him for a few minutes because it was really important for him to make a connection with William Jewell. He evidently moved away because his wife had health issues and needed to live in a drier climate, and had just come back to the area a few years ago and now lives in St. Joe, and had been to the VA hospital and so had some doctor stuff in town here. But anyway, he reminded me of the place that Jewell is. He told me about the little house that he lived in down by the KA house that was kind of a shack, and he was one of the people that had the keys, and so if somebody got locked out late at night, he's the one that they called to come and let him in the building. And even all these years later, Jewell is such a special place to him, and he just kind of wanted to know what was going on. So it was great to talk to him, and it was great to do that. I really don't have a lot I'd like to say today. Celebrating our graduating seniors, we had about 25 students graduate from Jewell that semester, and more than half of those had a connection to our program. So we were proud to have them. We wanted them to come to lunch today, but they're gone, they're scattered, so they didn't get here. But we had two sets of brothers on the football team, the Buffas and the Sheltons, and then we had three other players with a connection to our football program, either presently or before. And we had a women's soccer player who graduated in 3.5 years, and we had a baseball player, and I'm going to forget somebody. But anyway, we had a nice group of graduates, and we talk a lot about a lot of things that we do and the playing on the field and the competitiveness. But the ultimate, I think, for all of us, coaches and me, is when we see those kids walk across the stage at graduation, because then they're ready for what's next. So it was gratifying to see that. And Joel talked about the upcoming events we have. And the only thing I would close with, and I'm proud of this family of folks that we have. Proud of them stepping up for Paul. I'll never forget, I don't think, it's one of those you'll never forget where you are. I'll never forget May 14th, I believe it was 14th or 15th, when I was in Curry Hall and Paul called me, and he was checking in, and he said, "Can you come to the hospital?" And I said, "Okay, I'll be right there." And it was a day that changed his life forever, and it's affected all of us. And so I'm so happy that Paul is here today, and he says he can't catch anything from us. I think we all have been worried that we're going to make him sick if we get too close or whatever, but his counts are good and he can't catch anything from us. So Paul, I really hope you enjoy the next few days with your family and the holiday season before you go take that next battle. And thank you so much for being here, and thank the rest of you for being here. Have a wonderful holiday with your families, and we'll come back at it and play some more basketball games and get our winter sports started back up January 3rd. Thank you.